Hello everyone, I'm Fozzie, your Cam, and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How you doing today, Will?
I'm doing great, Cam. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Excited to be here on the Everything Podcast. We have a special guest today, a returning member of the podcast. We have James here with us, who's made an appearance a time or two in the podcast. Happy to have you here again, James. Honestly, we have a short list of topics today, but the topics that we are going to cover, I think, are going to stretch um, pretty far because they're pretty important topics. To start off the podcast, I just wanted to mention the new Spider-Man title was announced, which is actually really big news. Um, Brand new day, which is totally perfect. New director, new story, new trilogy name, and I think that's a really smart thing for them to do. The home series, and I guess this will be like the day series. I don't know, whatever. Um, Either way, I'm super excited for this upcoming movie. We haven't heard a whole lot about it. Obviously, there's been some stuff revealed, some leaks. Um, Before we dive into the deep into this episode, I actually have James here, who was interested in giving some theories and ideas he has for this upcoming Spider-Man movie. So, James, take it away. Let's hear some theories.
All right. So not only was there the reveal of the name of the next Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day, as he said, but there was also a few leaks that have spread around about some roles for this next movie. Uh, the two that I'm interested in talking about are the first one is a male 30 to 50s at the time, March 22nd, any ethnicity, and described as quote unquote no nonsense authority figure who sees the world in black and white, over loyal, determined, and willing to cross lines to maintain order. Now there were I've online there were a couple of different names that were thrown around. One was the chameleon, but I don't think it's going to be that role for a couple of reasons. The first one is we just saw him in Craven, and it would be kind of and actually there already was someone who was actually is the chameleon. I forget the like alternate name for like his human name for the chameleon, but he was in Far From Home, like Dimitri or something. I think that's what his name was. But he was also in actually the animated series Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, who had the same face and everything as that actor. I can't
Okay,
remember exactly who that was,
no worries.
um, but now not long after that leak changed a little bit from any ethnicity to be a 30 to 50s Asian actor. Now uh, that plus a couple of other details, such as the fact that in the Brand New Day comic series for Spider-Man, it was kind of like what we have now in the MCU. Spider-Man pretty much clean slate. Nobody know who Spider-Man is, and there was a lot of reintroductions to certain characters and stuff. One of which uh, was Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative. Now, I I think that would be he was kind of reintroduced into the comic series, and it would make sense for him to come into line, uh, especially since he's also very well associated with the organization Feast, uh, which has been made canon in No Way Home. That's where Aunt May worked before she bit the dust in No Way Home. So it would make sense. So I could see them doing something like, oh, he takes over Feast, but then also has something going on under the table. Kind of like in the Insomniac Spider-Man games, which we have talked about in a previous time I was on here. Uh, I could see it being tied into like what would happen at the end of Daredevil Born Again. I haven't watched it, but based on what I've
I don't
heard,
want to.
I
No
well, I
spoilers
mean,
here.
yeah, well, I mean, what I will say, I mean, from what I have heard, it's that like Fisk has outlawed vigilantes and stuff, and what I'm assuming is going to happen is he's going to get thrown in behind bars, and usually what happens after a big crime lord is put behind bars, it creates a power vacuum, which not only do we see in the Insomniac Spider-Man game, but real life as well. And it would make sense for that to happen in this case once again, and Martin Lee to fill that role and maybe come in with some kind of inner demon drug lord gang or something like that. I don't know. Now there was a second there was a second leak for another role, and it was a male, early 20s, described as a quote unquote resourceful young man. Now, a lot of people I've seen automatically go to Harry Osborn,
Yeah, I've
but
heard that.
I don't think that'll be the case. Just because we just saw Norman Osborn, and it would be kind of hard to top that off, or top off a like top the Norman Osborn actor, just how compared to the actor we have from the uh, original Spider-Man movies. But instead, I think it could be Miles Morales, and
Well, that makes
this is going to
sense.
sound like me kind of throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks here, but uh, not only has he been associated with Feast in the past before in like comics, video games, stuff like that, but I've noticed a pattern with Tom Holland in past years when he's done interviews before. So okay, so uh, prior to Captain America: Civil War, aka Tom Holland's debut as Spider-Man, he was asked in an interview like who would he love to play as like in the MCU or something like that, and he said Spider-Man, and then he said another interview prior to Far From Home, who is an actor that he would love to collaborate with, and it was Jake Gyllenhaal, the person who plays Mysterio. Then I can't remember exactly what the question was for this next one, but it was prior to No Way Home, and it was who is Tom Holland's favorite villain? I think it was, or a villain he would like to see or have with him in the next Spider-Man movie, and he said, I'm almost 100% sure he said Doc Ock as well, and boom, he was in No Way Home. And not too long ago, I saw there was another interview, and he was saying something on the lines of that how he would love to do what RDJ did for him, kind of like being in this case, Tom Holland being a mentor for someone else, like how RDJ was kind of the mentor for Tom Holland's character in like Homecoming. But in this case, Tom Holland will be like the mentor character for someone to be Miles Morales. And if this pattern that I've seen if fits, like I think that we might have a new Miles Morales in on the table, which I wouldn't be surprised considering like there was a bit of a reference towards the Prowler and Miles in Homecoming
Yeah.
when and the fact that like there's been a lot of uh favoritism, not favoritism, but there's been a lot of content recently that has involved Miles Morales and gotten his character more popularity, like obviously the Into the Spider-Verse and Cross the Spider-Verse, the Insomniac video games, etc., etc. So I think that there's a very good chance that we could see not only Martin Lee, Mr. Negative, but also Miles Morales in the next Spider-Man movie, and yeah, again, this could be me just like throwing stuff at the wall and
Yeah.
hoping that it sticks, but I'm fairly confident with these theories and the evidence that supports it. So yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, those are actually some really great thoughts there, James. And I actually have a few responses to some of the things you said. First off, since we last talked about the Spider-Man game, I have since beaten and well, I've got and beaten Spider-Man 2, which was a kind of an underwhelming story for me personally, but the gameplay was on a whole nother level. It was probably the most well made and just one of the most well made games I've ever played for sure. Story, yeah, I think it was a little short, a little underwhelming, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. The Martin Lee thing, I've heard quite a bit. I think that would make a lot of sense, and I would be totally into seeing that. I would completely be fine with it, and that I feel like at the moment is one of the more likely options because I feel like we're trying to make Spider-Man kind of more street level again after No Way Home was not really a street level movie. We're focusing. The MCU is kind of trying to lean towards more street level stuff, especially after the success of Daredevil Born Again. So I think Martin Lee is a good street level villain, and that would work. And with the Miles Morales thing, it would totally make sense. I think to see him in this movie, I think the MCU can kind of do something here with what the Insomniac games are doing. Sort of having maybe for this upcoming brand new day have Peter be the lead, but also have Miles feature in it, and then slowly it starts to shift more towards Miles and more towards Miles as the trilogy develops, like the Insomniac games are doing. So yeah, I could totally see that happening, especially with the success of the games. So yeah, awesome theories, great ideas, James.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to the table. Definitely possibilities, and I don't think you're just throwing stuff at the wall here. I think these are realistic things that I think definitely could happen. I'm sure Will would agree with me. There's a lot of evidence suggesting that this would happen. But what we're really here to talk about today isn't Spider-Man. It's a movie that just came out recently. A movie that when I saw the trailer for, I was honestly just disgusted by. And then as time went on, it got more popular, I guess, online with numerous viral moments, I guess, being taken out of the trailers, making this movie very popular and making it a lot of money. This has had one of the biggest opening weekend debuts I've ever seen, and I guess since we were on the topic of Spider-Man, this is one of the biggest debuts I've seen since Spider-Man No Way Home. So, I mean, as stupid and as pointless as this movie is, they're making a lot of money. So right off the bat, I just want to talk about this movie, and then Will, I'll let you share your thoughts. Actually, Will, I'll let you haven't spoken in a little bit. You can share your spot. You can share your thoughts on the Minecraft movie now. I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so I mean, video games is never something I've really done much, so I was really going into this with fresh eyes. I
Yeah.
know that Minecraft is an incredibly popular video game, but this was really my introduction to the whole Minecraft world, and I would say my takeaway from the movie would be this. Since Minecraft is such a popular game, I enjoyed being able to get a sense of what that world was like because I had never been exposed to it before. So I enjoyed getting a bit of a feel for what Minecraft is like. But my ultimate takeaway from the movie is this is the type of film that I feel like is meant to be like this. Like to me, it felt like the type of film that was meant for people who had played Minecraft over the years and knew the game really well, and not people like myself who weren't familiar with it. So, like, I'm sure that their goal, with this movie was to make people like me who weren't familiar with Minecraft interested in the world and maybe make me, want to play the game after seeing the movie. But my takeaway is even though I enjoyed getting a sense of what the whole Minecraft world was like, it didn't make me engaged in it in any way because I felt like it was a film that was more meant for people who had played the video game compared to people who hadn't.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I see kind of both sides. This could be because I've played the games extensively, but I thought it was more accessible to a new Minecraft audience while also kind of having that level of I don't know. It made it also relevant to people who have played the game. So I think for me, I felt like it kind of worked for both. But I also see where you're coming from, Will. Um, but like I said, let's actually go back even further for me. So I went when I was about 13 years old. I pretty much only played Minecraft for about 2 to 3 years straight. I played that game a lot. I made a YouTube channel where I played Minecraft. I watched YouTube videos. I played a lot of that game until I was like, I don't know, maybe 14 years old. Who knows? Played that game for a while. Yeah, it's an awesome game, and you gotta be dedicated because it's not always the most exciting game. You gotta find ways to make it fun, whether it be playing servers, playing with your friends, whatever. I've loved that game, and then one day I kind of just stopped playing it because that's what happens, and wanted to play it. A few months after, my disc was gone, and about 3 years go by, and I don't play. I didn't play Minecraft for 3 years just because I lost the disc to the game. But very recently, in anticipation for the Minecraft movie, after it started blowing up even more and more online, it started getting me more excited for the movie, realizing that I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching this movie, and that this won't totally be some stupid waste of time movie. I think I'll be able to have fun with it. So in preparation, I repurchased Minecraft, and I literally about maybe an hour and a half before we started this podcast, I was playing the game. The Minecraft movie has brought me back to Minecraft after a long time, and it's as fun as ever. I'm in a world by myself, and I'm still having a ton of fun with it. And that's kind of just to say that I have had a lot of experience with this game. I've had a lot of amazing, amazing memories. I have a lot of nostalgia for the game. I grew up with it. A lot of people grew up with it. So a movie was inevitable, right? It was always going to happen. It was always been rumored for years. It's been confirmed for years. And when this first trailer came out, I was disgusted. But the funny stuff online started to grow in popularity. And, how could I not enjoy it? So I go see it with my friends. And technically, it's a bad movie, whatever. But I had a lot of fun with this, whether it be shouting lines from the movie in the theater, and honestly, parts of it were actually genuinely funny. I thought Jack Black gave an incredibly solid performance, and I thought he was very committed to his role as Steve, um, which is something I never thought I'd hear myself say ever. Whatever. He's really good in this movie. Jason Momoa is really good in this movie, and unfortunately, no one else is. No one else is good in this movie, and that's really upsetting because there are other characters with their own story. So the parts of the Minecraft movie that I didn't like were the parts that didn't focus on Jason Momoa and Jack Black because frankly, it just wasn't that good or interesting. I thought the acting for the kid Henry, played by Sebastian Hansen, I admire his effort. I thought he wasn't great in the movie, and honestly, kind of made the scenes he was in worse. That could also be a personal preference. I've heard people praise his performance. Danielle Brooks is in this movie, who is a phenomenal actress. I don't know if either of you have seen the show Peacemaker, which is the DC show. That's season 2 just got the release date. James Gunn did it. It's part of the DCU now. John Cena from the Suicide Squad. She's in that. She's amazing in that. Everyone praises her performance in The Color Purple, the musical that came out a year back. I believe she even got award nominations for that. And she just isn't great in the movie. I don't think it's her fault. I just don't think she was given a whole lot of stuff to work with. Jennifer Coolidge is here, has a subplot with a villager. Thought that was genuinely hilarious. And I kind of want to get back to the root of the movie here. The director, Jared Hess, is what was the final straw for me. That's what made me be like, oh, I'm probably going to definitely enjoy this movie. Because Jared Hess has made movies that are so stupid and irreverent and whatever that they're good. Look at Napoleon Dynamite, a cult classic. Nacho Libre, also starring Jack Black, another classic, you know? So this guy has the ability to direct really good movies, but also keep that fun and that silliness. And honestly, I think the Minecraft movie achieves that just as well as his other movies. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of commercialized, but that is to be expected when working with a brand as big as Minecraft, with a universe as big as Minecraft. But mostly, I thought it was fine. I pointed out the flaws. The flaws were the most of the human stuff on Earth. Everything else is so much fun. It is a pointless movie. It is a ridiculous movie. It probably shouldn't have been made. But did I have a blast going with a bunch of my friends to see this movie? Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, the point of this Minecraft movie was for you to just kind of just escape and watch this insane movie. There's some stuff in here that I just can't, like, random stuff that just happens in this movie that, I thought was a lot of fun. And on top of that, there are a lot of really good references to a game that I grew up with and a game that so many other people grew up with that only enhanced my enjoyment of the movie. A lot of them, whatever, whether it be Jack Black shouting a line, diamond armor, full set, whatever it may be, um, it made me enjoy the movie that much more. So technically, on the outside, this is a bad movie. But if you can just embrace it and realize what it's there to do, I think you'll be able to enjoy the movies. All right. I want to be honest. When I use an app called Letterboxd to review movies. Every movie I've pretty much ever seen is reviewed on my Letterboxd. I mentioned it here on the podcast before. On Letterboxd, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Do I think it is actually a 5 out of 5 star movie? No, but if we're counting in my enjoyment, my happiness levels while watching that movie, why not? Why not give it 5 out of 5? But if I'm gonna be honest, I'll give it an honest score. I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars. That's my honest score for the Minecraft movie. I think it set out and did exactly what it set out to do. So solid movie. And Will, I also see where you were coming from there. But James, someone else who's played the game, I'm interested to hear your take on the movie.
Yeah. So I gotta say that I don't think that I have seen as many people in a theater since Avengers Endgame 2019 at the peak of Marvel when and isn't Avengers Endgame like one of the like top 3 like most
Yeah.
grossing movie
Yeah,
like
second highest grossing movie of all time
second highest.
behind
Avatar, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's Avatar 1, Avengers Endgame 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen so many people in a theater since that. And it was Avengers Endgame that I'm comparing this to, but I mean it makes sense. This is a video game that has been around for 16 years now and a lot of it and it's a lot of and it it's I it's grown on millions of people, I guess. And despite how goofy it could be at times, with just some certain parts in the movie, or just like having certain lines kind of from like the trailers, or referencing certain items or stuff from the game that people the characters, not only the characters in the movie are shouting out, the entire audience would shout out. I kid you not. Will was there to hear this. The whole room was saying, "I am Steve." When Jack Black Steve says the line, everyone, myself included, joined in for the line. It was, and I think that's why. But yeah, it's such. I mean, it. You know what it reminds me? It reminds me of. It reminds me of the Lego Movie a lot. Like it's like
Yeah.
Fozzie, like you were saying, it's like a movie that's just like really goofy, but it's one where you just kind of turn off your brain and just watch, and just for the laughs, and also just because it references a bunch of different things from uh, a game that is has grown on quite a lot of people, and I'll agree as well that like there were a couple of I actually noticed a continuity error in the movie. Wait, am I able to like say things that might be a little bit of add have a bit of spoilers in them,
Of
or
course, yeah.
okay? So in when the Midport village is being like attacked by the piglins, and uh uh the three, like Jack Black, Jason Momoa, and the other person, they're all running up the stairs, and Henry, the little kid, he gets pushed off of the bridge down down the waterfall or whatever, uh, by Garrett the garbage man, and he drops the potato gun that he had. But in like the final fight with like all the iron golems and the piglins and stuff, he's got it again. He's got the potato gun again. Uh,
Yeah.
like
I,
I mean, you could argue that, oh, he just crafted another one, but but or oh, he just went back up and got it again or something. I don't know, but yeah, there were a couple of like, and the lighting in certain shots was a bit off as well. Like when they're standing in front of the portals, and just in some shots, like when some of the characters are like just standing still, it just
yeah.
doesn't
I think it's that
blend as
green screen
well.
effect that just doesn't totally work.
Yeah, but I mean, I was able to look past all of it and just still have a good time watching it. And I will say, the movie is definitely a lot better when you go and watch it with a group of friends, just to laugh, just like to laugh about it, or just be like, "Oh, look, that's a diamond sword right there," or something like that. Because I actually watched it twice now. The first time was like on the Friday that it came out, with my dad. Uh, and he was kind of in Will's boat, where not doesn't really know much about the video game, but is still willing to just be there for the ride. Uh, and watching it kind of just as just watching it kind of without other people who also know the game, and uh I just like some parts I was just like, I don't know, this is kind of weird, kind of a little too childish, I guess. But then the next day when I watched it with Will and a couple of our friends from school, we all watched it together, and I had a I had a lot more of a fun time watching it, and enjoyed the parts that I thought were a little weird even more. And yeah, it was definitely all in all, definitely uh, a goofy movie. It was a long time coming for this movie to happen, and I think it definitely does. I don't know if it fully deserves like all of the stuff, like
I agree.
all
Yeah, I
the
don't.
box office money that it's been getting, but I mean, it makes sense why. Like I said, like we said, it's a game that a lot of people have grown on, and plus the trailers and the different lines from the lines from the trailers have also gained popularity. Like, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. And one more point I want to make, before wrapping up this, is that I think whenever a big movie like this, you kind of want to think about how it's gonna, because seeing movies in the movie theater is a big thing these days, because it affects the movies that get made, it affects streaming, it affects the future movies, everything gets affected by this. So I think this movie is great, because there are I've talked to so many people. I go to the movies a lot. I see a lot of movies. Um, I've talked to so many people as of late who never go to the movie theater. It's telling me, oh, did you see the Minecraft movie? Oh, I gotta go see that. You want to go see in, blah blah blah. They all want to go see the Minecraft movie in the theater. which is, I think, great because obviously the theater experience and the movie going experience with a crowd, with a group of people, is an experience like James kind of mentioned. It's just an experience that you can't beat, and you don't always get something like that, right? And it only happens rare times, but when it does happen, I think it's amazing, and it gives the movie theaters a boost. It gives the box office a boost, and it kind of reassures every time something like this happens, whether it be in No Way Home, Batman, a Minecraft movie, whatever it may be. Anytime this happens, it just reassures and reaffirms the fact that the movie going experience, no matter how much streaming wants to push it, no matter how much Netflix gets these originals, you just can't. You just cannot beat the theater, the movie going experience. It just can't happen. You don't get that group that shouting the lines from the movie watching Netflix. You don't get that. You only get that by going to the theater. And I think this is a huge step in the right direction. And I'm as silly and as bad maybe as this movie is, and maybe this isn't the movie I'd love to see getting all this praise, but it is, so I'm gonna have to go with it. So no matter how much I kind of iffy on this movie, it's done a lot of great things for the future of cinema, and I can't be mad at that. So I think overall, none of us hated the movie, which is kind of because Will has never played the game, right? And we all have. So you'd expect it to go one way or another. You'd expect either the people who have played the game to find all the inaccuracies and hate it, or you'd expect the people who haven't played the game to be confused because they haven't played the game. But we're both moderately satisfied by this, and I think that's a really great achievement for the Minecraft movie because that makes it all the more accessible to everyone else. Like, sure, if I saw this movie with my father, probably is not going to get the, I don't know, the Elytra wingsuit reference, or the Ender Pearl reference, or the Nether. That doesn't matter. He's still going to have a fun time with it. So it can go both ways, I think. And overall, this has had a good impact, and I can't complain about that. But that about wraps up this episode of the Everything Podcast. I want to thank James for joining us and giving us theories regarding Spider-Man and talking about the Minecraft movie. So thanks for coming on, James. And Will, of course, Will, thanks for joining me as always, and for bringing James on again. Always welcome. And thank you all for watching this episode of the Everything Podcast. We'll see you next time.